morning, everyone. This is Southern Belle 74, and I'm just giving you an episode of Unsolved Missing and a Broken Justice System. And in these episodes, I go over different stories about domestic violence, people who end up going missing and the cases are never solved. I talk about domestic violence and child abuse. So I've put together um, several different news stories tackling each one of these topics. So let me know how you feel about this in the comment section and we can go deeper. I'll also list the numbers to the domestic violence hotline as well as the child abuse hotline. Thank you so much for tuning in to Southern Belle 74 as I continue to give you news that you can use.
Tonight at approximately 7:58 p.m., a Seal Beach police officer initiated a traffic stop for a California Vehicle Code violation in the area of PCH and 5th Street. After contacting the female driver of the vehicle, the officer returned to his vehicle, noticed that the female driver had switched seats with her male passenger. The male passenger was now driving the vehicle. The vehicle took off at a high rate of speed and a pursuit was initiated. The pursuit ultimately ended up back on PCH after a short route through our Old Town area. From about the area of 5th and PCH to Studebaker and PCH, the driver was driving the wrong way on PCH, driving northbound in the southbound lanes, and then moved back over into the northbound lanes. In the area of PCH and 2nd Street in the city of Long Beach, a traffic collision occurred with the suspect vehicle and 8 other vehicles. After the traffic collision, the suspect exited the vehicle and fled on foot. The officer deployed his taser, which was effective in stopping the suspect. He was taken into custody. The suspect was injured during the traffic collision and he was transported. The female passenger was injured during the traffic collision. She was transported. They also had an infant child in the car who was transported to the hospital for evaluation. In addition to the suspect, female passenger, and the infant being transported, 6 other occupants of the involved vehicles were transported, and 1 passenger sustained injuries and succumbed to those injuries at the scene and was pronounced deceased at the scene.
Were most of those vehicles parked at the intersection waiting for a light, or have they gone through the light? Do we know?
That information I don't have. All of those vehicles have remained on scene now, but I don't know what their original positioning was.
Do you know if speed was obviously a major factor in this, since you had so many vehicles involved and so many injuries?
Long Beach Police Department is investigating the traffic collision since it occurred in the city of in LA County. They're here and they can speak to the traffic collision. I don't have information on that.
Is Long Beach the agency that's going to be taking the investigation on your pursuit end, or California Highway Patrol?
The pursuit will be investigated by the Seal Beach Police Department, and the suspect's involvement will be investigated by our Detective Bureau, and the traffic collision will be investigated by Long Beach PD.
You'll be canvassing the area for any surveillance video regarding this, right?
Absolutely.
Ma'am, anybody that might have seen this crash, we're going now into the morning hours. With an area code, what number can they call?
Say that one more time?
Anybody that witnessed this crash maybe can help investigators.
I'm not quite sure who.
All right, you've been listening to a live press conference from Julia Clagby with Seal Beach PD. This was a terrible collision at the end of a high-speed pursuit. You heard the details where a woman was pulled over, then she switched seats with a male in the passenger seat, and then he took off. And that's what eventually led to this terrible collision at this intersection in Long Beach. 9 vehicles in all were involved. There were 6 injuries in addition to the 2 people in the car and the infant in the car that was running from police, and there is 1 fatality. We're trying to get more information. We'll, of course, bring it to you, but this is a terrible end to a police pursuit that happened this evening. In fact, we have more breaking news to get to. There have been a number of police pursuits today. This pursuit crash in downtown L.A., and Chris Christie is overhead in Air 7 HD. Chris?
David, a two-car crash at the end of a pursuit here in downtown LA along Main Street and 2nd. Main Street shut down at the end of this chase where that car slammed right into that light pole. LAPD's noon division chasing the suspect just around 9:45 this evening. 3 people hurt in this crash, all 3 taken to the hospital. Reporting from Air 7 HD, I'm Chris Christie, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC 7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel and download the ABC 7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.
A mother is being questioned after police made a horrifying find in Tacony. Sources tell us a child was found in a dog cage that was tied shut, and 2 other young girls were found largely unclothed. It is Thursday afternoon. I'm Sarah Bloomquist.
And I'm Brian Taft. The big story on Action News today is the investigation into that home on the 4200 block of Glenview Street. We're told an elderly, wheelchair-bound woman was also found there. Right now, of course, there are lots of unanswered questions.
Action News reporter Maggie Kent is live there on the scene in Tacony with the latest. Maggie, what have you learned?
Well, Sarah and Brian, I can tell you after talking to police, they say the preliminary information that they're getting based on this investigation is just heartbreaking. There's no reason, no excuse for this to be happening. They're still trying to figure out how and why. They got called here earlier this afternoon just before 1 o'clock because 2 young girls were outside in the rain, partially clothed. And when they got inside, that's when they found that 6-year-old boy nude inside of a dog crate inside that house. It's on the 4200 block of Glenview Street in Northeast Philadelphia. Police officers say again they found a nude 6-year-old boy inside of a dog cage. He had a blanket and a pillow in there. They were alerted again by a neighbor who heard screaming outside and saw those 2 young girls, the boy's sisters, outside partially dressed. Now police are trying to figure out what was going on inside the house. They're interviewing the children's mother, who quickly showed up on scene once they got there.
When officers arrived at one of the houses on the block, they saw 2 girls, ages 4 and 5, that were partially dressed outside in the rain. The officers were able to pick them up and gain entry inside of the property. And once they got in there, they came upon a 6-year-old boy that was locked inside of a dog cage.
Police say also inside of this house was an elderly woman who was wheelchair bound and a man in his 40s. Now, neighbors describe that man as being an uncle of these children and that he has a mental handicap. He was telling one of the neighbors that he was trying to open the door, but they, quote, lock him inside. Again, police are questioning the mother of these children at this hour. They're trying to figure out exactly what the situation was inside of this home. Right now, no charges have been filed as they continue this investigation, which is only about 3 hours old. DHS, they're not sure yet if there was an open case with this family, but of course, now there's one. We're live in Tacony. Maggie Kent, Channel 6, Action News. Brian, Sarah.
Yeah, horrifying situation all around and lots to sort out yet. Maggie, thank you.
Good evening to you. We are hearing from the mother of the 2-year-old girl killed at the hands of her own father. Fox 26's Gabby Hart has been following this story from the start, and she joins us live. So, Gabby, what do the family have to say?
Well, I can tell you it was really an emotional interview. This family had tears flowing from their faces as they recalled the moments that the suspect, that they say that suspect, which is the child's father, FaceTimed them, even forcing the mother to watch him injure her child and showing the grandfather that child's bloody and beaten body.
Her face was just covered in blood. He hit her with something really hard. And then he called me on FaceTime, and he showed me that he choked her on FaceTime as I was on there. And he told me, I said, Trey, that's your daughter. That is your daughter. Stop. That is your daughter. She loves you. I care about her. You care about her. Like, that is your daughter. And he told me his exact words was, You only love that man, so you did this to her.
Kirsten Watson tells Fox 26 she's still numb and in shock. Around 10 o'clock Monday morning, her child's father, identified by police as 25-year-old DeAndre Flanagan, stormed into her job at Walmart in North Harris County. He had their 2-year-old daughter, Zavea Marie, who had just been dropped off at daycare, in his arms, and he began screaming at Watson.
He just wanted my phone. He's screaming at me, cursing me out, telling me, what's the passcode? Tell me the passcode or she's gonna get it. And I'm telling him the passcode, and I'm telling him over and over and over, but at the end of the day, I guess it just wasn't enough.
After he took off with Zavea in hand, police say Flanagan took deputies on a 30-mile chase. The car eventually came to a stop on Stubner Airline Drive near Veterans Memorial, where officers took Flanagan into custody uninjured. But little Zavea required CPR until Life Flight arrived. She died at the hospital.
She was just such a happy baby, and I just know she's at peace.
Watson says in the week leading up to this incident, she had to contact police on 3 different occasions about Flanagan, but she was told there was nothing they could do.
The first day he took my child, like I was giving her a bath in the tub. He stormed in, and he took her out the tub. She wasn't even dressed, and he just took her out the house and drove away in a car. We've been going our separate ways. And I let him be, but he couldn't let me be. He couldn't let me be happy. He couldn't let me move on with my life.
This family now sharing their story, hoping it helps someone else.
And I wonder about how many other Zaveas is around the world right now, around the United States right now, that's having the same problem. That's in the city, that's in the state. We got to help one another.
Now that suspect is charged with murder. He was set to appear in court today, but waived his right to appear. I can tell you that a judge set his bond at $1 million. As for this family, they do have a fundraiser set up to help with funeral expenses. You can head over to my Facebook and Twitter pages, Gabby Hart News, for more information on that. Of course, we will stay on top of this story and bring you all of your updates right here. For now, I'm live in downtown Houston. Gabby Hart, Fox 26 News.
Developing now, authorities have made an arrest in the death of a pregnant woman who was murdered and set on fire in Northwest Fresno. Her own brother now in custody, accused in the crime. Thanks for joining us for Action News Live at 5. I'm Vanessa Vasconcelos.
And I'm Warren Armstrong. Action News reporter Brittany Jacob is live downtown at the Fresno County Jail tonight with the new and disturbing information on this investigation. Brittany?
Well, good evening, guys. The family members have just confirmed that Nakaya was 8 months pregnant with baby Noah, and now comes right after the family just threw her a baby shower over the weekend. Now, 2 lives have been cut short, and we want to warn you that the details in this investigation can be very disturbing.
That possible 1144 in a field. They at Cornelia, 4488 North Cornelia, they have the victim apparently set on fire at this time.
Around 12:30 on Tuesday afternoon, Fresno police and fire responded to this dirt access road for a report of a dead woman set on fire. Authorities have now confirmed the victim is 26-year-old Nakaya Logan, who was pregnant at the time of her murder. The suspect, her own brother, 41-year-old Aaron Dudley. Police Chief Paco Balderrama says it's part of an unsettling trend.
As a police chief, I find this horrific. And the fact that we've had, 5 babies murdered in this fashion the last year is something that keeps me up at night.
Detectives believe Logan and her unborn child, baby Noah, had been stabbed numerous times. They say that stabbing happened just a few blocks away from the home Logan shared with her mother and brother. This is not the first time authorities were at that home. About a year and a half ago, they took Dudley on a 72-hour hold after being deemed a threat to himself and others. Police say this time when they arrived, Dudley was trying to cover up the murder.
But this is a person who had the wherewithal to try to clean up the evidence, try to dispose of the body, ran when the police came to knock on the door to see what was going on. So this is not somebody who does not know what he's doing.
District Attorney Lisa Smitkamp says she anticipates her office to file 2 counts of murder because of how far along Logan's pregnancy was. That would make Dudley eligible for the death penalty. Now, the family today, they told me they are completely grief-stricken. And while they did not want to go on camera, they told me that Nakaya was a beautiful spirit. She was loving, very family-oriented, and trusting. And again, the motive of this case has not yet been determined, and this investigation is still ongoing. Live in downtown Fresno, Brittany Jacob, ABC 30 Action News.
Right. A Houston mother is demanding answers tonight after she says her 6-year-old son was repeatedly sexually assaulted while riding the school bus. An investigation is underway right now in Aldine ISD. ABC 13's Maya Shea joins us live with these serious allegations, Maya.
Yeah, these allegations are so disturbing, and the mother says she believes it's gone on for several months, but it wasn't until her son lost his backpack last week and she called here at the transportation department to get to the bottom of this missing backpack that everything came out into the open. Latoya Stormy Monroe is devastated. She says she had no idea that her 6-year-old son was being sexually assaulted on the school bus.
I feel like as a parent, I failed my child. It hurts. I didn't protect him. I don't know what to do.
Monroe was joined by community activists today in front of the Aldine bus barn to discuss what they believe happened, that over the past several months, an older child would repeatedly molest and sexually assault Monroe's son on the bus, and that the bus driver didn't notice.
According to the investigator, the bus driver stopped the bus because she thought they were fighting on the back of the bus, but this mother's child was fighting because he was being raped.
Monroe says everything came to light last Tuesday when efforts to track down her son's missing backpack led school officials to look at surveillance video on the bus. Then she got a call.
I get to the school and I find out that my son was sexually assaulted. Days of questioning, days of talking to my child, the details became more and more graphic each and every time.
Since then, her son has been treated at the hospital and they've spoken to investigators. In a statement, the district says in part, an investigation by Aldine ISD police and district officials immediately began on Wednesday, February 1st. CPS was notified. Once the investigation has concluded, appropriate action will be taken based on investigation findings. Meanwhile, Monroe says her son doesn't even fully understand what happened.
He's not really at his age understanding the magnitude. He actually really stated that why couldn't this kid be given a second chance? If God gives second chances, why couldn't the perpetrator?
Monroe says she hopes her speaking out today will get her answers and justice for her son.